Hello, welcome to another video. I've been quiet for a while because the TWABs have been a bit meh of late. I mean, if you didn't see those transmog changes coming, what planet have you been on? However, this week it touches on something close to my heart, linear fusion rifles. Sleeper Simulant is and has been my favourite weapon in Destiny 2 since I started playing again on Forsaken release. I love the way you had to acquire the gun. The quest was so long and stupid, but it was so worth it. It's the best looking gun in the game, and if you disagree, you're wrong. It's the coolest sounding gun in the game. And if you disagree, you're wrong. When you fire it, you actually feel like the recoil affects you. I also completed Spire Stars just to get the Catalyst, and I did it when you had to do the normal raid before you could unlock Prestige. If you don't understand why that's such a pain, just be glad you don't have to go through it to get the Catalyst anymore. Anyway, back to the reason for the video. Linear fusion rifles are getting a buff, finally. For as long as I can remember, it has felt like one step forward, two steps back for linear fusions, especially Sleeper Simulant. Now, they might actually be a viable option in the heavy slot. This video is about more than just a buff to linear fusion rifles. It's about balance. Now I want to quote the TWAB here. Quote, "First, I want to share how we think about weapon roles, with heavy weapons in particular. We intend each weapon to excel in one or two areas, making them optimal choices in particular situations, based on target type or engagement distance. For heavy weapons, this is how we intend the weapons to fill roles of add clear, single target damage, and burst damage." Now, I can't disagree with that. I think that's perfect. Now, I want to run over, paraphrase the weapon roles that they've set out. Swords should be efficient add clear, ammo efficient add clear, beg pardon, with single target sustained damage as a secondary option. Rocket launchers should be burst damage and secondary add clear. Machine guns should be ammo efficient add clear and secondary single target sustained damage. Linear fusion rifles should be single target sustained damage and secondary burst damage. Grenade launchers should be burst add clear with secondary single target damage. And exotic snipers should be single target sustained damage. Again, I mostly agree with how Bungie have set out their roles for heavy weapons. But now let's talk a bit more about balance. We haven't had balanced heavy weapons since pre-Whisper. Since then, we have had metas in Whisper itself, cluster bomb rocket launchers, spike grenade launchers, whirlwind blade swords, and currently we sit in a timed payload rocket launcher meta. Some consistently high performing exotics like Anarchy, Xenophage, and more recently Lament have always been near or at the meta. It's my belief that all heavy weapons should do roughly the same amount of damage, but at different rates. My linear fusion should do slightly less damage than your rocket launcher, but at a higher rate of fire, so our damage comes out at roughly the same per magazine. However, my linear fusion should do more damage than your sword, but at a slower rate of fire, so our damage comes out at roughly the same damage per second. Slight situational advantages should be in place as well. Swords are higher risk, higher reward because of your proximity to the enemy, and if I hit crits with my linear fusion, I should be able to match your damage from a distance. Now, if that sort of thinking was applied across the board, we would have a far greater variety of heavy weapons to choose from, with some having an advantage dependent on the situation and/or the mechanics of the fight. Having choice is the greatest gift Bungie can give us. The choice to use what we like rather than be bottlenecked into what's best at that particular time. Although I'm happy about the buff to linear fusions, I hope they don't become meta. I just hope the changes make them a viable alternative rather than a placekeeper in my bank. Now, thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.